My girlfriend is mad at me for keeping my wife's ashes with me. Hi, welcome to my channel. Today, we got a story from r/relationships where OP girlfriend is pissed at OP for keeping his wife's ashes with him. Before we start, if you have any personal stories of relationship issues and problems that you and your significant other faced that you want to share, feel free to email them to me. Let's get started. Original story. Married high school sweetheart at age 25. She died in a car accident 5 years later. We love to travel, and so I had her ashes made into a diamond to take her with me on my adventures. Her ashes, along with both of our wedding rings, are on a chain I carry in my pocket on my adventures. Helps me feel close to her. I will always love and miss her, but I know she would want me to be happy and find love. I've been dating a new girl for over a year. I dated a couple of years after my wife's death, but never found love until the new girl, we'll call her M. M is great and has been so supportive and understanding of my late wife. She knows about the chain and never said it bothered her, though she never knew the stone was my wife's ashes. I used to keep the chain on my bedpost, but thought it would be disrespectful to M, so it's now safe in a drawer. I still take it with me on my travels. M and I have talked about moving in together when her lease ends in 2 months. I am ecstatic about this. I want to spend my life with her. Yesterday, I was packing for a solo weekend trip to the East Coast as she was over. When I packed the chain, M asked me what the other ring was, not X's or my wedding rings. I explained that I had my ex's ashes pressed into a stone and she flipped. Couldn't believe I had lied to her for a year and said what I had done was creepy and weird. Gave me an ultimatum, get rid of the stone. I can keep our rings on the chain, just not the ashes, or she will not move in with me. I asked if I could put the stone away in a drawer, but she said no, it had to go. She refuses to spend another night with my wife in the house and said it's her or me. Please help Reddit, I don't know what to do. I don't want to lose this girl, but I also don't want to give up respect for the one I once loved. My ex was not close to her parents, so I cannot give it to them. I can't just throw it away. I'm at a loss. Canceled my weekend trip. I just want to make things work with them. I keep thinking to myself that making this stone was crazy. M told me that no girl would ever be comfortable with it, and that if I keep this stone, I will be living a lonely, miserable life. Women of Reddit, would this be a deal breaker to you? Am I insane? Update. Thanks again for all the support. I was only expecting a few responses and was shocked with how many people took the time to write to me. I appreciate it. We met up on Saturday. There was a lot of dialogue between us, but I'm going to try to keep it short and paraphrase what we said. I know many of you said to give M time to cool off, but I just couldn't spend my whole weekend knowing she was unhappy. I invited her over for dinner and spent the day cooking her favorite meal. I took the ring over to my mom's house because I know it being in the house made her uncomfortable, and bought her some flowers. I wanted to show her that she has no competition, that I love her. When she comes over, the first thing she says is it still in the house? When I assure her it's not, she comes in and sits down. I start by apologizing, explaining that I never meant to lie to her or hurt her, but that I now realize I was lying by omission, and it wasn't fair to her. I apologized again and said I hope she didn't lose all the trust she had in me. I then told her how much I love her. I explained how much she means to me and how easily I could see myself spending my life with her. I go on and on about how happy she makes me, blah blah blah. She likes all this lovey/apologetic talk and is smiling and holding my hand, telling me it's okay and that she loves me too. I then say, it's time to talk about the ring, and she changes right before my eyes. She lets go of my hand, and her happy face is replaced by one of anger. She said something along the lines of I thought you got rid of it. And I told her that I never said that, I simply said it wasn't currently in the house. She got angry, but I asked her to listen to me before she said anything. I explained that when my wife died, I didn't have the heart to bury her, and having her remains around felt odd to me, so the ring seemed like the best option. At this point, she's crying, with her face in her hands. I ask if she would be okay with me keeping it at my mom's place or in a safety deposit box. She's silent, then cries, why couldn't you just bury her like a normal person? Now I'm crying and I say that I'm sorry, that I respect my wife's memory, but I wish it didn't disrupt our relationship because I love you, Em. Anyway, we cried. She said that she wishes the ring didn't bug her as much as it does, but that she's just not sure if she can be with me. She says making your wife a ring isn't what a normal person does, and it's making her question my character. I asked her what she wants me to do with the ring. What's her idea of get rid of it is, hoping we could compromise. She said she doesn't know what I should do with it. She just wishes it never existed. She said she loves me, but she's just not sure about the relationship anymore. Told me she needs to think about it. Left without even eating her dinner. I haven't heard from her since. I'm not quite sure what to do or what we are at this point. We have stuff at each other's places, and both have keys. I love this girl, and I don't want to easily give up on us. But I'm hesitant to reach out to her again. I'm thinking of giving it some time and hoping she reaches out to me. I don't know. The thought of losing M breaks my heart. I want to add that I don't think this is about being insecure or jealous of my wife. I think M is freaked out by the fact that I had my wife cremated and turned into a stone. I think even if I had her in an urn, M would still be freaked out. M hasn't had any experience with death, but I think she was raised with the idea that when somebody dies, they go into the ground. The fact that my wife isn't buried somewhere freaks her out. Update 1. Again, thank you for all the support in the last 2 posts. You helped me keep a clear head through all of this. I had no idea Reddit could help me so much. I didn't plan on posting again, but I have surprisingly good news. Last night I came home from work to find a framed photo from my wedding hanging on the wall with a chain dangling around it. There was also a 5-page note from M on the coffee table. I'm not going to type the whole note, because a lot of it was very personal to M. However, I will say that there was a lot of apologizing on her part. She told me that she thought a lot about the ring, and even did some Googling and realized that it's not all that uncommon. She said she was completely embarrassed by her reaction, and that she was uncomfortable with the thought of being around anybody's remains. She called herself disrespectful, childish, and pathetic. And also said that what I did was a beautiful thing, and shows what a sensitive and loving man I am. That she wants to be with me more than anything and doesn't want to change a thing about our tradition, taking the ring traveling. She told me she now sees that it's a lovely idea and said my wife was lucky to have me in my family. That she as well is lucky to now be a part of my and my family's life. She concluded by saying that she felt as though we had a good connection and handled conflict well. She said she hopes that I know her well enough to know that this isn't the way she typically reacts. I do. She also told me she was going to get therapy, as she is worried about what will happen once somebody she knows dies. The last part of her note said that she left a surprise in my fridge, a 6-pack of my favorite beer, and that she'd love to enjoy them with me if I'll have her. She told me to take all the time I need before calling her and that she hopes someday I'll forgive her for her actions. I called her immediately. We talked, and she pretty much repeated what she said in her note. I repeated what I said at dinner, that she is my number one, and that I am so sorry for lying about the ring. We have plans to see each other tomorrow night. I love the photo of me and my wife. I don't have many photos of us, and none that are framed. The chain looks perfect around it, and it's a nice little memorial to have in my home. I love the idea of starting a new home with them, while still having my wife's memory be a part of it.